Hello, it's Sunday story time. Now today's story takes us back to 2015 when I worked with a class at the wonderful Glyncorrwg Primary School. Over a few weeks we created the story you're about to hear, A Quest for Magic. It's a story I had a great time working on and I hope you enjoy listening to it as much as I enjoyed putting the children's words and ideas into the story. A Quest for Magic. As the large knife sailed through the air, the king and the queen shot up from their thrones and looked on in horror. "Oh no," they said. "Oh my," they cried. Claude, the castle cat, who had been busy washing his ears, leapt up in fear of his life as the knife headed straight for his swishing tail. It missed by a cat's whisker. The magician, who had been trying to ride a unicycle whilst juggling the knives, bent down to pick the knife up. "Oops," he said, as he gently patted Claude on the head. "Sorry, puss." Claude sloped away, up the castle steps to find a bed to sleep in. "Sorry about that," the magician said to the king and queen. "Never happened before, has that?" The queen looked at him quizzically. "Do you really know what you were doing?" "Of course, your highness, of course." The magician put his knives back into a box marked magic tricks and then proceeded to take out a set of juggling batons. The king and queen gave each other a worried look. "Now for my next trick, I shall ride my unicycle and juggle these 3 batons at the same time. Watch and be amazed." The first thing he did was to fall off the unicycle before his feet even touched the pedals. "Oops, try that again." After 2 more attempts, the magician managed to stay on the unicycle without falling off. He started to pedal, then juggle the batons. He was beginning to think he could do this without making a mistake. He was starting to feel confident, maybe overconfident. It was all going so well when... "Oh no!" the queen gasped. The magician stumbled this way, then that. The batons flew into the air and one by one they bumped him on the head. Thud, biff, boof. "Ow!" said the magician, rubbing his head in 3 places. More magic disaster followed. First, instead of pulling a rabbit out of a hat, he pulled out a rat, which caused the queen to faint with fright. Next, instead of turning an ordinary stone into a glowing diamond, he turned one of the castle guards into a smelly skunk. Kings and queens do not like skunks, so they were very, very annoyed. Enraged, the king bellowed, his voice like a booming cannon. "Out! And don't ever come back!" echoed the queen. The magician knew he wasn't very good at magic. He was too clumsy, always making silly mistakes, always having silly accidents. Today was the worst, he thought, as he made his way back home, his head hanging low. That evening, as he slumped down in his chair, he realized that he would have to do something. It was time to visit the great wizard of the woods. It was still dark the following morning as he left his home for the woods. The journey would be a difficult one, along a road that was cracked, bumpy and dangerous. He had heard stories of the road through the woods, stories of witches, dragons, monsters. He had to hold his lantern up to see through the dark, murky trees. Last thing he wanted was to step on a poisonous snake or to walk into the web of a creepy black spider. He walked on and on and on, until his nose twitched with the smell of smoke. Then his ears twitched with the crackle of burning wood. Then his eyes saw the cloud of smoke He ran on, following his senses through the woods until he could see the towering house of the great wizard of the woods. Then, crash! Ow! The magician moaned. He was on the floor, rubbing his head again. He hadn't been looking where he was going, so didn't see the ladder that was resting against a tree. He looked up and saw that the ladder disappeared into a small old hut, hiding in the thick branches and leaves. Slowly he began to climb the ladder. It wobbled, creaked and squeaked, but he didn't stop until he reached the top, and when he did, he almost fell straight back down to the ground, because there, waiting for him, was the great wizard, who barked in a deep, grumbling voice, "Who are you? What are you doing climbing my ladder?" Luckily for him, the magician didn't fall to the ground. He stared in wonder at the figure of the great wizard. He was an old man with a long grey beard down to his ankles. He had enormous eyebrows that were swept back to his ears and were bushier than a sack full of bushy things. He was wearing a huge blue cape covered in gold and silver stars. He looked every bit a great wizard. "Well," the great wizard said, "are you going to answer or stand there staring all day?" "Oh, yes, sorry. I'm a magician, your great wizardness." "And why are you here, magician?" "I'm not a very good magician. I can't seem to do any magic. I was hoping that you, the great wizard, could help me." "Me? Help you?" "Yes. You are the great wizard of the woods, aren't you? You've got the wizard caper, the stars, the beard, everything." "Yes, I am he, but I don't know how I can help you, though." The wizard rubbed his beard thoughtfully. "Come on in and tell me what happened." The magician told the great wizard everything. The mishaps, mistakes, the accidents, the whole lot. When the magician had finished, the great wizard said, "What you must do, young man, is go on a quest. You must find the witch's potion and a treasure chest. But before you go, you will need this." The great wizard took from a shelf a large dragon's tooth. "Where do I find a potion and a treasure chest, and how do I get there, and what's the tooth for?" "I can give you this." For a moment, the wizard disappeared inside a huge cupboard before reappearing, holding a worn, tatty old map. "Here is a map of these woods. It will tell you all you need to know. Good luck." Not wasting any time, the magician scrambled back down the ladder and set out on his quest. Examining the map, he could see a path that would lead to a place called Witch's Cottage. All he had to do was follow it, not go down the wrong path or hold the map upside down so he'd be reading the map all wrong. No, that's all he had to do. It was that simple. A little while later, the magician stopped and held the map out in front of him. "What's this?" The magician looked puzzled as he studied the map. The path in front of him forked into two. He couldn't see it on the map. He scratched his chin. "Oh, stupid map," he said. "It doesn't even say which way round it is supposed to be." He threw the map in frustration. He was lost. Suddenly, an old man who looked as crooked as a broken twig appeared from out of nowhere and said, with a voice like a cawing crow, "You want to know which path to follow? Follow that one." Startled, the magician pointed to one of the paths. "This one?" "Yes, that one. Follow that one and stay on that one. Now, be on with your way." With that, the old man vanished into thin air. The magician decided to follow the path. He had given up on the map. Besides, he didn't like the look of the other path anyway. It was all muddy and stinky and had ruined his shoes. Slowly, a creeping shadow cast a gloom over the path. The trees began to close in, moving towards him as the path shrank. The roots of the trees were getting bigger and winding their way like snakes across the ground. The grass was becoming thicker and more tangled, trapping his feet. Suddenly, from the top of the forest, a strange, scary, piercing screech made the magician almost jump out of his shoes. Whizzing through the sky, a swarm of flying creatures were coming straight at him. Were they monkeys or ferrets or squirrels? He didn't know, but he knew he didn't like them, so he ran as fast as he could, but he wasn't fast enough, and the path was getting darker. Help! The creatures were about to catch him when their screeching suddenly stopped dead. All that could be heard was the boom, boom, boom of something big and heavy coming his way. And then he saw it. He couldn't miss it. Bursting through the tangle of trees was a giant, the great giant of the woods. The magician gulped. The great giant looked down on him and said, "No one belongs on this path. It is the path of doom." "It was the old man who told me to come this way." "The old man?" The giant paused. "I think that this old man is not what you think he was, and wanted to do you harm." The magician then explained to the giant that he was on a quest to find magic and was lost. "Let me put you on the right path again," the giant said. He lifted the magician up into the air, carried him over the trees, and landed him down back on the other path through the woods. "Stay on this path, and you will find what you seek." Nothing happened on the new path. No monsters, giants, or any other creatures. It was all rather dull, which suited the magician just fine. It wasn't long before he could see a clearing and an exit out of the dark woods. He was, for the first time, beginning to enjoy this quest of his. Soon I will be able to do proper magic, he thought to himself. He started whistling a happy tune as he left the woods. Just as he did, he looked behind and stopped in his tracks, because there, through the trees, he was sure, he was in no doubt, that staring back at him were a pair of bright orange eyes. Big orange eyes, 10, if not 20 times the size of yours or mine. A dragon's eyes, maybe. He didn't turn back to find out, and soon was walking very, very briskly away from the woods. The last thing he needed was a dragon. That brisk walk turned into a jog, almost a run, and before long he arrived at a cottage. Now, if he still had the map, remember the one the great wizard gave him that he threw away earlier in the story, he would know that this cottage was in fact Witch's cottage, and he would have been a bit more careful. And he wouldn't have walked up to the front door, banged his fist in it, noticed that the door was slightly ajar, and walked straight in. But like I said, he didn't have the map, and that is exactly what he did. The cottage was empty. No sound could be heard. While scanning the room, he noticed it. A treasure chest sitting on a table all on its own. The wizard's words came back to him in a rush. Treasure chest, the witch's potion. That must mean I am at Witch's cottage, he realised. Too late to worry about that now. Like a scampering rat, he darted to the chest. It was locked. A heavy padlock was guarding whatever was inside. Then he noticed something about the padlock. The shape, the patterns, the picture of a huge dragon. Yes, he cried out loud, the dragon's tooth! In an instant, he had the chest open and there inside was a glass bottle containing a glowing green liquid. Was this the potion? He was about to open the bottle to find out when a broom flew across the room and knocked it out of his hands onto the stone floor, where it smashed, the liquid quickly disappearing into cracks and crevices of the old stone floor. Then he heard the screech. "What are you doing in my house?" It was the witch, and she wasn't in a good mood. Without answering, the magician flew up the stairs. There was nowhere else to run, with the front door being blocked by the witch. She swiftly followed him up the stairs. "You won't get away from me!" There was a door. He opened it and dashed inside, then wished he hadn't. There were no windows or other doors, and the only way out took him back to the witch. With no way out, he was trapped. "I've got you now!" the witch cackled as she burst through the door. In her hand was a wand which she was pointing at the magician. "How would you like to become a toad?" But she never cast her spell because, at that exact moment, an almighty crash tore away the roof of the cottage. The roar that followed could be heard on the other side of the world, probably. "Give me my tooth back," the dragon bellowed, flames flickering from its mouth as it spoke. One of those flames caught on the long cloak of the witch. "Oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no, help, help, find some water. No, no, not water, something else, find something else, quickly." These were the last words that the witch spoke, as she disappeared in a puff of steam. Poof! The magician turned to the dragon and said, "Here it is. I use your tooth. I saw it here when I came in. It was nothing to do with me. I don't know how it got there. I've never seen it before in my life. I want enough," the dragon roared. The dragon snatched the tooth and flew through the roof and disappeared out of this story. When he was back downstairs, the magician saw the smashed bottle that once held the potion. Without the potion, there could be no magic, and he could never go back to the castle. He would never become a proper magician. As he was about to leave, he noticed a loaf of bread had been left out. The witch must have had it in her hands before she flung the broom at him. He had not eaten for a long time, so was feeling hungry, starving even. As he picked up the bread, he saw it. Another bottle of green liquid, another potion, yes! He dropped the bread and grabbed the bottle and rushed over to the table to sit down, but he wasn't looking where he was going again. His feet made contact with something on the floor, and that something yelled and yowled and leapt up at the magician, its claws out in attack. Ow! As the cat pounced, the magician panicked and flung his arms in the air. The bottle went flying. He watched it, almost in slow motion, as it spun across the room and landed in the witch's cauldron and exploded in a puff of green gas. The witch's black cat scampered out of the door to find a new home, and the magician decided to go home. And that was the story, A Quest for Magic. I hope you enjoyed that story, and I hope to see you again next week for another Sunday story time. Until then, bye for now.